Agents, good evening. Lesson 5, IGC, Physical and Psychological Health. Now, till chapter 4, what we saw? All the management related issues, health and safety management, like why to manage health and safety, how people behave, what kind of people controls, administrative controls, and the risk assessment procedures, monitoring measurements of health and safety management systems, safe systems of work, permit systems. See, everything is managing people and management of health and safety. And we learned also risk assessments and what are the risks associated with various health and safety activities and all that. But in from chapter 5 onwards, we will be seeing specific health and safety risk with the specific activities. Okay, so hazard identification. Now we go to the actual hazards of the job or actual hazards associated with the job. So chapter 5 is physical hazards and psychological hazards or health issue associated with the physical hazards and psychological hazards. So in risk assessment, we saw different type of hazards. Physical hazards, chemical, biological, ergonomical, and psychological. So now in this chapter, we'll be taking 1 and 5, physical and psychological. Okay, physically harming to human body and mentally harming. So let's see what are the physical hazards in the first chapter. Noise. So there are hundreds of hazards. We can't able to learn all these hazards, but we will see some important hazards that can physically harming a human at workplace. So noise is one of the physical hazards. So what is noise? Noise is a unwanted sound. Sound can be good sound or anything. You know, when I talk to you, a sound comes out. When some music is going on, there is a sound associated. But sounds can be peaceful, also sounds can be irritating. If a irritating sound continuously coming, can we stay there for a long time? No, it will keep us irritated and mentally disturbed. For example, a generator running at workplace, how that would be for a worker from staying there from morning to evening, working there. Can he be peacefully work there for the generator sound? Definitely not. It will irritating.
No,
It
sir.
will health issues can start from there, isn't it? Noise related issues to the eardrums. Okay, but if a controlled music, not very loud music, also can cause you harm, irritation. Controlled classical music, something not rock music, light music will go on. That time you can sit there, listen to it, peaceful, calm, and you can do your work peacefully, isn't it? So that is the difference. So there are so many unwanted sounds may present at workplace, from running machinery, from maintenance issues, from workplace activities like hitting, steel molding, cutting, grazing. So many activities can give out noises. Excavations, what is that? Or maybe sometimes explosions, demolitions, these activities can cause noise. So what are the effects of noise on the workers? Generally, what kind of jobs are exposed to noise? Construction workers, because of the plant and machinery. Uniform services, like military personnel, artillery, bombs, all that. Entertainment sector workers, maybe working in discotheques. Not the people who go there for entertainment purposes, nothing to not to cover in it is not covered in the occupational health and safety law. Convention doesn't cover the entertainment related. Nobody tells you to go to the entertainment. It is your own wish, you are going. But the workers who are working in the entertainment industry are covered under the Occupational Act. Maybe a waiter in a hotel where there is a loud DJ music is happening. That time the worker is forcefully working there. He doesn't have other option. So entertainment sector workers, manufacturing sector workers, call center staff. You know what is call center? Do you know what is call centers? Call centers are like for banking. There are, we call them, isn't it, for our any issues. But call center is not only one person there are hundreds of people sitting in a cabins, open cabins. So that time there will be a lot of noise, talking noise, and there's a lot of noisy environment they are dealing there. It's not only the noise, there can be having mental issues like stress, verbal abuse. All that things will come on the noise center, call center stuff. So what are the physical hazards of noise? Temporary reduction in hearing sensitivity as a result of short duration to excessively loud noise. So you can experience this when you go to a disco, bar, or discotheque where heavy noise is playing there. If you stay there for 2 to 3 hours, when you come out from there, your hearing, you may not able to hear anything. When somebody talks to you, you might hear some hizzy sounds. You may not hear the even voice when you exposed to loud noise for long, for continual, for a short time. Okay, so muffled hearing after a loud concert, that is one of the, is called temporary threshold shift. Okay, temporary reduction in hearing sensitivity. Then there can be noise induced hearing loss. It's a very common term, NIHL, with the associated with the occupational noise. So it is a permanent damage or progressive loss of hearing as a result of repeated exposure to excessively loud noises. So when the worker is exposed continuously throughout his work life to unprotected noise, then it can lead to NIHL. Means before, even at a young aged person can lose his hearing. Tinnitus is a persistent ringing sensation in the ears as a result of repeated exposure to excessively loud noise. This may be temporary or permanent. So tinnitus means a ringing sensation, some kind of coo sound coming in the ear. Tinnitus. And also inability to hear, hazards at workplace due to the sound, due to the background noise. Many alarms they may not hear, horns or reverse alarms of the vehicles the workers may not hear, conversation and spoken instructions, especially when there is a training going on in a noisy environment. The training is maybe useless, workers may not able to hear or understand, so as a result of background noise. What are the psychological effects of noise? Stress, mental stress. Stress means irritating, because of the irritating background noise. Stress can increase difficulty concentrating and an increase in errors caused by background noise. So concentration may not be there. Maybe some jobs need a lot of concentration. So workers may not be able to, concentrate on a dangerous machinery and can end up in accidents. So noise induced hearing loss, all these things can be possible due to the noise. So what happens if you see the hearing? You can see in the picture outside, signals are entering the ear through the air medium, noise waves, and they start vibrating the internal ears. There is a hammer, anvil, eardrum is there. Due to that vibration, there is a hair like structure. See this one, it's rounded and kept here, sit here. It's called cochlea. Cochlea starts vibrating. Actually the strength and vibration, strength of the cochlea, uh, that converts the sound waves or audiometric signals into electric signals, which will get into the brain. So if this cochlea vibrates properly, good. If the health of the cochlea is good, then the signals may be more effective and go to the brain through the auditory canal to the brain, and we hear the sound. But what happens, for every sound, this air-like structure cochlea is keep vibrating. If it is vibrating only for the required sound, it's good, it is working properly, or it is used properly. But if it is vibrates for all unnecessary sound, as more vibration happens, the strength of the cochlea, as the time goes, it will deteriorate. Generally, as the age goes, age person becomes aged, the cochlea also become aged, so it may not able to vibrate properly, and a person may not able to hear the sound. Especially if you talk with the elderly person, they may not able to hear what you talk, because their vibration or the auditory conversion of the sound waves is poor on the aged person. But if the same thing happens with the young person, because he has exposed to the noise unprotected, and he has damaged his cochlea. So that is the effect of noise. Because of that reason, we say noise induced hearing loss happened to the person, because the vibration potential of the cochlea is weakened due to its overworking, due to the overworking of the cochlea. Understood, no? So this way, people are not hearing the sound because of the overworking of the cochlea. It become poor in its work. So there are various terminology in uh, noise. Sound pressure. Sound pressure means the air pressure of sound waves moving through the air. If the sound pressure is more, then vibration of the cochlea, it will impact more on the cochlea vibration. Uh, if the cochlea health is good, for that sound it vibrates, or it is forced to vibrate for unwanted sounds. Generally, the generator sound, bomb blast, all these are heavy, high pressure sounds, high pressure waves, sound waves. They will go and hit the ear, and many people get deaf. They become deaf because of the unwanted sounds that hit on the eardrums. Sound pressure plays important role on the noise induced hearing loss. Intensity, the measure of the energy carried by the sound pressure waves. So sound pressure and the intensity of the sound pressure waves moving through the air, which we subjectively call the volume or loudness. Yeah, intensity is the loudness, volume. Decibel is the unit of sound pressure level. Generally, we measure sound in decibels. So here you need to understand, every 3 decibel increase in the sound means double the sound pressure. Double the sound pressure means volume doubles. So you need to understand that every 3 decibel increase means volume doubles. Understand, no? Okay. Next is a frequency, the measure of sound pressure waves that pass a fixed point in 1 second. In 1 second, how many sound waves will move? That's the frequency. The human ear is sensitive to noise across a wide range of frequencies, from 20 hertz, very low frequency, to 20,000 hertz, very high frequencies. Pitch, we call it pitch, like in that way. If you see low noise, low pitch to high pitch, after certain pitch we may not able to hear, sound is there but we may not able to hear. So 20 hertz means very low, 20 hertz sound. that way. If you go still down, you may not be able to hear. Weighting, A weighting during noise assessment. A weighting is applied to the decibel values at different frequencies to give a sound pressure level expressed as dBA. A weighting converts the decibel value to take into account the sensitivity of the human ear across a range of frequencies. So you need to just understand A weighting in the sound level meter means it is what we hear. Whatever frequencies affecting the human ear is measured as decibel A weighting. So dBA, you may be hearing sound frequency of 85 dBA. Okay, dBA. C weighting means then another weighting is C. During noise assessment, C weighting may be applied to the decibel values at different frequencies to give a sound pressure level. At C weighting gives a more accurate reading for impulse noise, single loud bangs that would not be properly recorded using a dBA scale. Now, maybe in a workshop, the sound level may be not very high. Maybe it is around 90, 100 decibels. But suddenly in between, like every 15 minutes, there is a big hammer comes and hit, dog. One sound comes. Very high in sound pressure and frequency. So that is measured in C weighting. C weighting sounds may not affect the ear because it's very fraction of seconds that sound comes, not long time. So that may not be hearing, but it will definitely accumulate the effect on the hearing damage. If you listen to such sound in a day, maybe 10, 15 sounds coming, it might impact on the hearing. So that is measured in C weighting. When we do the noise assessment, A weighting sounds are the normal sounds, machine running. But C weighting sounds are, peak pressure, sudden maximum peak pressure. That may be 140 decibels. For a fraction of second comes one hit, and that is measured in C. Now, in general, what would be the sound levels? In a quiet library, you might get 20 to 30 decibels of human hearing, decibel A, dB A. A weighting sound means in a general where we can hear these sounds normally. A conversation, when two people are talking each other, then when you measure that sound, it would be 50 to 60 decibels. A loud radio, if you put 65 to 75 decibels. A power drill can cause up to 90 to 100 decibels. But a jet aircraft taking off 25 meters away, then it can be 140 decibels. Okay, 140 decibels. So like that, sound decibel range can vary. In this, generally consider up to 85 decibels is considered as safe for the person to expose for 8 hours. 85 decibels. Anything above 85 decibels can be harmful to the person for the human ear, and it can lead to noise, NIHL, noise induced hearing loss. Please write down. NIHL means noise induced hearing loss. Very common term used in the noise. So assessment of noise exposure. So we need to assess at the workplace, because noise exposure, once the person is exposed and get hearing is damaged, then it is irreversible. There is no medical help can be provided to the worker. So before damage occurs, only person must be taken out. So before damage occurs means what? We need to check the sound before only, isn't it? Not after getting persons are getting damaged, injured, then it's of no use, because the workers hearing may not be uh, you know repaired. Hearing may not be repaired, may not be able to repair. So do not wait until the hearing gets damaged. Workers are getting NIHL. So before that, assess the noise exposures and apply proper technical engineering controls. So damage to hearing of in the form of NIHL and tinnitus is depending on the dose of noise that a person receives. This dose of noise is determined by the sound pressure level that the person is exposed to in combination with the duration of time that they are exposed to it for. In order to work out what a worker's exposure to noise is in the workplace and whether or not the dose of noise that have been exposed to is excessive, employers must undertake some form of technical noise assessment. Okay, so it says, so to check in advance whether workers are exposed to high noise and putting them to the risk of noise induced hearing loss, employers has to conduct an assessment, technical noise assessment. So for doing technical noise assessment, we are using a simple sound level meter. What are the regulations that puts responsibility on employers? Control of noise at work regulations that they require where there is likely to be significant exposure to noise. Simple hearing checks can be used to estimate the noise levels. If normal conversation cannot be heard at a distance of 1 meter from the speaker, then the noise levels are likely to be in the region of 85 decibel A, dBA. So how we know there is a noise problem? When you speak with another person standing in a meter distance from another person and you can't able to talk to him peacefully because of the background noise in the surrounding, then there is a noise issue at the workplace and the noise will be generally around 85 decibels. So up to 85 decibels is safe, but anything above 85 decibels can be dangerous to the hearing and you need an assessment to be carried out. Okay. Now, use the sound level meter and measure the sounds at various locations. Generally, noise assessment is carried out by professionals with an experience and a proper hold or proper knowledge of the sound level meter, how it works, survey of the noise survey they can carry out. Using a drawing of the workplace at various locations, they mark and measure the sounds at that locations and they put it in a table and give a report on that, where which locations and what is the daily exposure of the individuals. They can do environmental monitoring, also individual exposures can be found. Control of noise at work regulations recognize exposure standards to have been set on the basis that the amount of damage done to the ear is dependent on the amount of energy absorbed by the inner ear. This determined by the two factors. So what are these two factors that will damage the ear? One is noise level and the duration of exposure. Just noise level may not damage it because the duration is very short time, like suddenly hit on a plate can be very sharp sound, but it's a fraction of a second, it may not damage, but repeatedly exposure to that noise can damage. So duration of exposure in hours and minutes and noise level in decibels. So there are exposure limits are given by the law. Daily personal exposure and weekly personal exposure and peak sound pressures. These can be measured and also their maximum allowable limits are given in the occupational exposure limits or WL workplace exposure limits, which are given outlined in element 7. We will see that later. Now, what is the lower exposure action values? Lower exposure action values. Now, what is lower exposure? So there is, when the sound level comes generally 80 decibels, A weighted average. When you measure the sound on your sound level and you comes to know the sound is at 80 dBA, then it says the first action to be taken by the management or the employer. Why? 85 decibels is allowed. It may not cause harm, but you have to be careful at this time. When the sound level reaches to 80 decibels, a daily or weekly personal noise exposure of 80 decibel, if a worker is allowed to work in that area for 8 hours, or in a week for 40 hours, then action need to be taken. So what action? We will see that control in the control measures. So action starts at the 80 decibels, and a peak sound pressure reaches to 135 decibel. Now, what is the peak sound pressure? Impulse noise, like sudden hits. Okay, sudden hits may be 135 dBA, because the DBC meter reading, the survey will tell you, oh, peak sounds are 137 or 135, 136. That means it is first action level 135. Okay. Upper action values, when the sound level reaches to 85 dBA and 137 dBc. So you now understood dBA means normal sound levels, dBc means impulse sounds or sudden hit sounds, sharp sounds. For example, what a sharp sound? If I maybe my machine is putting the plate every 15 minutes, one plate falls from 2 meter height to the ground level and makes a very sharp sound, heavy noise, and the sound level meter shows me it is 138 dBA for a fraction of second. That means now I am on the upper action limit. Now, what action I should take at these different actions or different levels, we have to know. So exposure limit value. What is limit value? Limit value means do not allow your workers above these sound levels. And what are these sound levels? Unprotected, means unprotected. Do not allow workers unprotected to expose. 87 dBA and 140 dBc. Understood? Do not allow your workers to expose to any time, maybe 1 minute or 5 minutes, above 87 decibels dBA and above 140 and above dBc. Okay, so that is the action level. So you have to understand here three actions. One is lower action or action A, upper action, second action, and limits. Do not allow above these limits. Now, what is the action to take? Lower action, when the what is the lower action limits? 80 dBA and how much? dBc. dBc how much? Can somebody tell me what is the dBc at the lower action? Here it is. 135 dBc, 80 dBA, 135 dBc, lower action. Upper action, 85 dBA, 137 dBc. You must remember this. And limit 87 dBA, 140 dBc. So you understand dBA and dBc difference, right? dBc is impulse noise, sharp noises for a short durations. Okay. So what action to take now? Lower action, carry out and record noise assessments. Carry out the noise assessment and record them. That means you come to know now sound levels are this much. Then provide information, instruction, and training to employees in what? In noise hazards and noise controls. Let workers know that there is noise issue. They know what is noise means, how it will impact them, and what kind of precaution they should take. So they have the knowledge. And make hearing protection available, only available. You are not forcing them to wear it must, like you are not enforcing them. Forcing or enforcing means If they don't wear, you take disciplinary actions. That is not required at this level. Here they should know, they should have the knowledge, because risk noise assessment is carried out, knowledge is given to workers, and if they want, they can wear the hearing protection. Okay. Now, what is at the upper action value, or what action should be taken at the upper exposure limit, action value is the 85 decibels and 137 dBc. So here again, same thing, assessment must be carried out. Now, reduce noise exposure to the lowest level reasonably practicable by means other than hearing protection. Now, don't only think here, provide them hearing protection, compulsory. Of course, hearing protection compulsory, but you have to think about engineering controls so the noise will be reduced. Like that, if a noise comes out, you're not putting a barrier there. That time noise waves will be reduced. Engineering controls here, barricades, enclosures, many things. We will see that later. What are the engineering controls? Okay, so these are the upper action value. Still above 85 decibel, even after the controls, noise doesn't come down, and sharp noises are 137 dBc and above. Then what? Then make establish mandatory hearing protection zones. You must have heard about hearing protection zones. They barricade the areas and they put signage there, hearing protection zone, without earplugs no entry. Maybe a generator room, on the door itself it is mentioned, without hearing protection no entry. So that is the mandatory hearing protection zone. Then provide information, instruction and training to employees on the noises, noise hazards and controls, providing hearing protection and enforce its use. This is the one, very important. Provide and enforce. If the workers are not wearing, then disciplinary actions, or do not allow them to work in that area. Provide health surveillance. What is health surveillance? Medical checkups for those who are exposed to noise. Okay. What is the limit value? Exposure. Those who are exposing to, when you come to know the noise is more than 87 decibels and above 140 dBc, that time immediately prevent exposure and reduce it below the limit value. Workers, remove the workers from direct exposure without protection and reduce it below the limit value. So with the engineering controls. Okay. Okay. From that, I want you to read this chapter for better understanding again. Now let us see the control measures. Do you have any questions for me up till now? Do you have any questions? Whatever I explained you up till now about the noise? Okay. So let's go to the control. Now, how can we reduce the noise, entering the people hearing zone? In simple terms, noise exposure can be controlled in 3 ways. What are these 3 ways? Reducing the noise at source, where the noise coming, there you can reduce at the source itself. Interrupting the pathway from source to receiver. So when the noise coming from one particular source and it is passing through the air medium, put a block or barrier there, like a wall construction. And third control is protecting the receiver. Protect the receiver. Who is the receiver? The person. Whoever receives the sound, protect him. Okay. So let's see what are the reducing noise at source techniques. Eliminating the source means get rid of the noise source. We know noise is hazard. Just get rid of it. Is it possible always? Maybe. When we bring a generator, if the generator is making noise, what can be done? Get rid of the generator. take one with the noiseless. So you straight away remove the noisy generator or keep the generator away from the workplace. It is possible probably in remote areas like maybe you have a project uh, in a empty space, huge compound is there. So, but you can't keep the generator in some other's compound, isn't it? So when you have a project in a desert, then it's okay. You can keep the generator very far in the desert and get the power by the cables. So that time the noise to the workplace can be reduced significantly. So eliminating the source, completely remove the noise source. Not practical in many instances. You can't reduce the noise source because generate the machinery has to run there. Substituting the source. How can we substitute the source? Change the noise source for something else that does the same job but generates less noise. Yeah, that is one good example. Like change a petrol-driven machine for an electric version. For example, a forklift, petrol-driven or diesel-driven forklift makes lot of noise. Also, it emits the smoke and all that. Now, you can substitute that with the electric version, electric, battery operation forklift. Modifying the process, yeah, by changing from glass to plastic bottles. If glass bottles are there, they make a lot of noise. Plastic bottles may not do the noise. Noise from packing line can be reduced because of the replacement of glass into plastic bottles. By replacing a compressed air rivet gun with a screw fixing, manufacturing noise can be reduced. Yeah. Maintenance plays important role in reducing the noise. Machinery often produces noise because it is in need of maintenance, especially oiling, greasing can reduce the noise of the rotating parts of machine. Damping. Damping means what? Machine parts can sometimes resonate in harmony with the noise being produced by the machine. Like when you hit a steel plate, the steel plate not only one time it makes sound, the sound will keep on coming from the steel plate, chill sound. So if I put a some kind of gunny bag on that metal plate, when you hit to the plate, the resonance may not come there. It will only sound tick, tick sound. But when you remove that gunny bag, it might make chirr sound, that way. So that's called damping of the resonating body part of the machine. So wherever you have to do inspection, that time you come to know which part makes a lot of noise. Maybe a casing of the machine. So put the some kind of damping, um, um, make the damping of that part, which makes a lot of noise. Silencing, silencers. Any machine that produces exhaust gases. If you see the exhaust pipe of a diesel generator, they keep one kind of silencer above that exhaust pipe. So it will reduce the noise significantly. There is a small part, it plays on the pipe, on the exhaust pipe. It suppresses the noise. Then second part, interrupting the pathway. Pathway means the sound wave where it is coming, you interrupt that path. That time sound waves will not move further. So insulation, insulating. Insulation means what? In some instances, it is possible to build an acoustic enclosure around a noise source. Noise is generated inside the enclosure but cannot penetrate through the walls to the outside work environment. For example, a static diesel generator might be placed in a separate building with sound insulating walls. That's called insulation, sound insulation. So generator is kept inside a room. So the sound of generator only comes inside the room. So when the worker goes inside for maintenance, he must wear all his hearing protection and do the oiling or some kind of maintenance works. If the generator cannot be stopped, otherwise always required or always advised to stop the generator and do the maintenance. Isolation. Noise is often transmitted in the form of mechanical vibration from machinery into supporting structures. From a compressor into the floor it is mounted on. Isolation involves separating the machine from any supporting structure using vibration absorbent mats or springs. This breaks the transmission pathway. So generally, any machine that makes noise is kept on a rubber boots. Maybe see this in a car, on a car bonnet. You know, the car motor. If you see the car motor, what is there below? It is kept on a rubber boots. Rubber boots. If that rubber boots are broken, then the car start making vibration, lot of vibration. Uh, so that is called isolating the vibrating vibration, and because of the vibration noise comes. So isolation, okay, keeping it away from the general noise emitting surface through rubber, through proper shoes. Then absorption means once noise has escaped from its source, it may travel directly to the receiver through air, or may be reflected off hard surfaces such as walls and ceilings. That time what happens? Echo sound comes. And echo sound means repeated noise waves hitting one surface to another. So if these surfaces are properly acoustically designed so that the noise is absorbed, it will not allow to hit back. That time noise output will significantly reduce, especially in factories where a lot of noise comes. Then the walls will be made of absorbent materials, sound absorbent material. So this could reduce the sound. And next one, protecting the receiver. This can be achieved by acoustic heavens and hearing protection. What is acoustic heaven? Just imagine you have a workshop with heavy noise, and in the same workshop there is a office. There is a office. Now, how does the office people will work from morning to evening? Okay, okay, good. How does the office people will work from morning to evening? Because the office is designed in such a way that outside noise will not enter the office. Only when the door is open, they might hear a lot of noise, but when the door is closed, inside the office is fully acoustically designed. So that is called acoustic heaven. Also, when there is a sound emitting machine is kept, the operator of the machine, there is a cabin for him. Okay, maybe for a crane operator, where he sits inside a cabin where outside noise doesn't enter inside. So this is called acoustic heaven. Acoustic heaven. Acoustic heavens are built where there is surrounding area is too much. If the work operator need to expose is exposing, or the machinery makes lot of noise, that operator should not be affected. Just providing the hearing protection may not be the suitable control there, but acoustic heaven can protect him from a lot of risk to from exposing to noise. Next is hearing protection. Directly provide earplugs and ear muffs. Okay. Next one, let's go to the hearing protection. There are various hearing protections available: ear defenders and ear muffs. Ear defenders and ear muffs. So what are the advantages and limitations of these both? Straightforward, we have to read that. You must have seen ear defenders or muffs. Muffs means completely covering the ear. Plug Plugs means they are getting inside the ear, smaller one. Muffs are fully covering outside. You can see like a headphone. So ear defenders easy to supervise and enforce use as they are visible from far. So the supervisors can come to know, understand whether worker is wearing the hearing protection or not. But in the when they use the earplugs, when the workers are given earplugs, supervisors may not able to see from far. They should just assume a worker is wearing it, but they may not be wearing all the time earplugs. But earmuffs given, they can see and take immediate action. Less chance of ear infections, yeah, because they are outside, we're not getting inside the ear. High level of protection possible through all sound frequencies. Bone transmission is reduced because even though you put earplugs in the ear, sound can enter to the ear canal through the bone, side bone. Can be integrated with other PP, safety helmets. Yeah, safety helmets can come with ear muffs. They are reusable, no need to throw. What are the limitations? They are uncomfortable when worn for long time. You might get a pain in the ears, sides of the ear. Must be routinely inspected, cleaned, and maintained. Efficiency may be reduced by long hair, spectacles, or earrings. May be incompatible with some other items worn. Full face respirator worn, then uh, you may not hear the ear muffs. Need dedicated storage facility. Otherwise, they can be get damaged or dust can sit on them. Uh, Earplugs, they generally fit on the ear canal, smaller one. You must have seen, right? Earplugs and ear muffs. Now this is earplugs. They are cheap. They come in a packet 100 pieces, and they are disposable, one time use and throw. Often more comfortable to wear. Do not interfere with any other PPE worn. So um, you can wear any other PPE, but these things are small, get inside the ear canal. Limitation, difficult to see when fitted, so supervision and enforcement is difficult. Risk of infection if dirty or if cross-contaminated when inserted. They do not interrupt the bone transmission route at all, and so give a lower level of protection, so high intensity noise. So they don't protect you completely. That way. Okay. So whichever type of hearing protection is chosen, arrangement should be made for what things need to be given along with the hearing protection, information, instruction, and training to the workers. In what? How to wear the hearing protection, the limitations, cleaning and maintenance, and replacement arrangement must be taught to the workers. Arrangement to store them, safe storage in hygienic locations, away from water, away from sunlight. Cleaning. Ear defenders are often designed to be dismantled for easy cleaning. Plugs are usually disposable. Okay, maintenance, including routine inspection and replacement of worn parts, replacement of lost or damaged items. Okay. So that's it. Attenuation. What is attenuation? Attenuation means to what sound level they will protect. Because you need to see the attenuation on the pack of the ear. Generally, earmuffs can protect from heavy noise, but earplugs, you may bring them from the shop like 100 pieces. To what level they protect you? Is it 85 decibels or is it 100 decibels? So you need to check that on the packs. You need to check. There are various calculations to be made. Safety professionals may, or the noise assessment professionals may advise you what type of hearing attenuation earplugs are needed. Okay. The role of health surveillance. So audiometry. Audiometry is the Audiometry is exercise or a test made on the worker who exposes to noise. Now, audiometry, they give various frequency sounds from low to higher and ask the worker whether they can hear this sound. And where the worker says, yes, I'm hearing, they make note on that frequency and say, oh, this his hearing is working at this frequency. Maybe that frequency is more frequency is given during the audiometer testing so that worker is hearing. Less frequency he may not hear, means his hearing is already damaged. When we do audiometry testing, what do we find out? Audiometry testing allows identification of workers with pre-existing hearing damage and new hearing damage, which may be work related. So the first day when worker comes, during the first day of job, new worker comes, then his audiometry testing is made and his pre-existing condition of the hearing is recorded. Then where periodic testings are made and they come to know whether his pre-condition is deteriorated or it's the same level. So that way. And why what is the use of this audiometry testing? Because in the countries like Europe, UK, occupational health and safety considered as very high. So the workers can go to court and get compensation if they get damaged their hearing, their health is damaged by the workplace. They can go to court and put a case on the company, and they should prove that they got their health condition deteriorated due to the exposure of the to the contaminant, to the noise at workplace. Then companies should prove that they have done everything that is needed by the law and their condition is not deteriorated in their company. So for that, companies has to keep these records of the individual workers, those who are exposed to the noise, and that will help them to protect from legal consequences, protect them from insurance premiums paying out as compensation. Because when the compensations are given, what will happen? Their insurance premiums will increase next year. They should defend the compensations also. Okay, so that way the audiometry testing will help the organizations. That way we are covering uh, the noise chapter from the chapter 5, noise lesson. Do you have any questions in this? Vibration. Vibration. Have you heard about vibration? In the noise, we talked about vibration. Because of vibration, noise comes. Now, how does the vibration, what is vibration, and how does the vibration affect the health? Okay. Now, vibration is similar in many respects to noise, both in terms of its physical characteristics and preventive measures. Vibration is the oscillatory motion of an object. Means an object moves back and forth around a same axis or same point. Left and right, left, right, left, right. So when it fast turns, then there is a vibration. That is called vibration. Okay. There are two types of vibration exposures that give rise to occupational ill health. So what kind of effect happens on the body when that vibration enters into our body? Hand arm vibration. Generally, the tools used with the hand, cutters, grinders, drills, they vibrate while they work. And that time, this vibration can enter the hand and arm. Okay, and then what happens? How does it impact on the body, on the hand and arm? Because our fingers, blood vessels, right? Our body made up of cells, hands made up of cells, arms made up of cells. Now these cells need continuous supply of oxygen, and what provides the oxygen? The blood flowing in the blood vessels. Now, when the tools are pressed or hold tightly by the worker, the vibration potential entering the body is more, doubles. If the force is more applied, more vibration enters the body. Now, this vibration, what it does, it vibrates the blood vessels, and the blood vessels getting damaged during the continual exposure to vibration. Blood vessels are getting damaged, and the flow of blood in the blood vessel is interrupted. So when the blood flow is interrupted, oxygen reaching to the cells is interrupted. Now just imagine the finger capillaries are damaged and blood is not entering into the fingers. That time the cells of the fingers are receiving either lower amount of oxygen or no oxygen. When the cells are not receiving oxygen, they suffocate and they get died or they get damaged, destroyed. When the cells are destroyed, then there is no sensory sensation will go, numbness will come, pain will come, the grip of the fingers will reduce, they can't hold any workpiece, and as a result what happens? Accidents can happen, because when the workpiece cannot be hold, tools cannot be hold properly, then uh, accidents can happen. Also the cells damage can lead to finger damage. Vibration white finger is the uh, vibration white finger is the health issue due to the hand arm vibration. So that is the hand arm vibration health issue. Okay, vibration white finger. Worst case scenario, what happens means vibration white finger lead to gangrene. They chop the fingers out because the finger cells are damaged. The finger cells are damaged means it's like a gangrene. Diabetic happens, what happens? Cells are damaged. They will cut off the fingers, doctors. Otherwise, it is pain only in the fingers. You don't get any job, but it's worst case scenario. Generally, during winters, cold seasons, the effect of blood circulation is more on the finger. If there is no proper blood circulation, then fingers will be damaging more. Along with the vibration, it can cause more harm to the fingers. So hand arm vibration. Another one is whole body vibration. When the whole body is vibrating, this generally happens due to the seat, the equipment which operator need to sit and operate, like a forklift, construction vehicles. They can cause vibration, and vibration goes through the body, whole body, especially if the seat is not properly designed. Seat is not properly designed, there is no proper shock absorbers on the seat, then vibration entering the body will be direct to the body, and it will lead to spinal cord injury or back pains. Back pains is the outcome from the whole body vibration. So you understood there are two type of health issues: hand arm vibration and whole body vibration. So I already explained you hand arm vibration, what it means. Vibration white finger, see the fingers getting white here, and the nerve damage can happen with the hand arm vibration. Muscle weakening, all these are due to the lack of oxygen, and finger dexterity, grip strength will reduce. Joint damage can happen. Whole body vibration, I already explained you. Spine, tissues of the spine can be affected, and back pains. Here again, assessment of vibration exposure. Um, Vibration magnitude. The dose of vibration is determined by the vibration magnitude that the person is exposed to, in combination with the duration of time that they are exposed to. So here again, regulations are there for vibration. In the noise at work regulation, but in the vibration, control of vibration at work regulation 2005. This is in the UK and Europe, but not in UAE, in Saudi Arabia. There are no specific regulations, but all these hazards are covered under the health and safety hazards. In UAE, we have Federal Law number 8, Article 91 covers all the workplace health hazards. It can be noise, it can be vibration, it can be equipment, machinery, tools, everything covers there. There is no specific regulation for different hazards. Okay, so vibration magnitude is measured in meter per second square. Duration of exposure in hours and minutes. Okay, then dose is called the 8-hour energy equivalent vibration magnitude, or E8, 8 hours. So 8 hours, how much dose is safer? It is given in the law. So what is the daily exposure action value? Less than this value, there is no harm to the body. But action, what time employer need to take action? This is as given in the control of vibration regulations. 2.5 meter per second square for 8 hours for hand arm vibration. If it is 2.5 meter per second square, when it reaches to 2.5, then action need to be taken for hand arm vibration. And for whole body vibration, 0.5 meter per second square. And daily limit value should not be exposed more than this value, that is 5 meter per second square for 8 hours and 1.15 meter per second square for whole body vibration. So these values can be obtained from proper vibration assessment. Now, what action to take? When reaching to first the action value 2.5 meter per second square, then carry out a vibration assessment. Employers has to conduct a vibration assessment by a professional. They give a report. They will find out the machinery used, what they will find out the vibration potential of the machine using its manuals, and they find out what there are machines, the equipments, they measure the vibration potential of the machine during its working time, and they find out the values. And if it is 2.5 meter per second square for hand arm and 0.5 meter per second square for whole body, then assessment record and reduce vibration exposure to the lowest level reasonably practicable. Whatever possible level they have to reduce, and provide information, instruction, and training to employees, and carry out health surveillance or medical health checks to check any damage to the body, finger cells, circulation issues, all that. A physician will check the person. Daily exposure limit value, like 5 meter per second square for hand arm vibration and 1.15 meter per second square for whole body vibration. What action to take by the employers? Vibration assessment, and immediately reduce exposure below the exposure limit value, either limiting the time of exposure, maybe stop the work and let person maybe job rotation, like that. A person should not expose more than this value. Please note that there is no mention in the legal standard of the use of PP as a control measure. So PP provision is not a control measure here. Either you have to stop the work and that job will be continued by another worker, because this worker's limit is already finished for that day. But other than that, provide gloves that may not help to reduce the exposure. So for example, if a vibration assessment shows that a worker's exposure to noise is no, not the noise. I think it's a typing error. Assessment shows that a worker exposure to vibration is 3.5 meter per second square. That is above the exposure action value, but the below the limit value. Then the employer must reduce the exposure to the extent that they can. They must also provide information, instruction, and training to employee and health surveillance. And if the whole body vibration of 1.5 meter per second square, that means above the limit value, then the employer must immediately stop work and then reduce exposure below the limit value. Okay, so that's an example. What are the control measures? Again, here three ways of controls: reduce the vibration at source, interrupt the pathway from source to receiver, and limit the duration of exposure. Let's see what is the reduce vibration at source. Again, eliminate the source. When vibration emitting equipment is used, don't use it. Go for no vibration or lesser vibration emitting tool. Completely remove the vibration source, perhaps by mechanizing the use of tools. Don't do manually, automatic machine. Using a concrete breaker mounted on an excavator arm rather than hand operated. Or by changing work methods, clamping rather than welding. Removing the need to grind away welds. Okay. Substitute the source. Change the vibration source for something else that does the same job but generates less vibration. This can be done by changing the type of equipment or tool being used, but can often be achieved by using the same type of tool, but simply buying a low vibration magnitude model. Just, from high vibration, because when you purchase a machine itself, the manual says what is the vibration potential. So see, a lowest vibration potential tool. Changing work techniques. So many times when you do the job in a different method, vibration will be reduced. There may be ways of doing the work that do not produce much vibration. Cutting holes in masonry using a diamond tipped drill rather than a tungsten hammer drill. Yeah, where more force is required. Now, maybe a drilling in a wall. In a normal drill on a concrete wall, if you put a drill, the worker may be putting more force because the drill is not suitable for concrete wall. So Hilti with the proper concrete bit can make the holes very easily in a concrete drill, reducing the vibration potential also. Maintenance. Machinery often produces vibration because it is in need of maintenance. So make sure maintenance is there, and also the bits in particular should be kept sharp. Otherwise, more force has to be exerted and more vibration can get into the body. Interrupting the pathway. Again, isolating. Isolation. Vibration is transmitted through solid materials by direct contact from the two-stroke motor of a chainsaw to the chassis, supporting that motor to the handles to the hands. So if you use a chainsaw, the motor gives vibration to the outer casing and outer casing to the handles, and it will come to the hands of the worker. So isolation involves separating vibrating parts from the user handles using anti-vibration mountings. So there are many, like, rubber pads on the handles can reduce the vibration potential. You can see these kind of controls in many of the machinery. The handles are provided with the rubber pads or rubber coverings. So the vibration getting into the hands will be minimized. Separation, isolation means separation. Then limit the duration of exposure. So as more time working on a vibration potential tool, emitting tool, then more vibration gets into the body. So reduce the time of exposure. So this can be done by job rotation, replacing the people. Okay, and also PPE may not help. We noted about that PPE may not give protection from vibration exposure because it may not prevent transmission of vibration from hand grip to hand effectively. In spite of that, hand protection is important when using vibrating hand tools, because the hands should be kept warm and dry. Yeah. Cold hands, because when you wear the hand gloves, they are kept warm. Warm means circulation is good. Cold means circulation may not be good, especially cold winter, cold times, cold weather. If the gloves are put, then hands kept warm. Circulation will be good. Improved circulation keeps the cells of the fingers more safer. So vibration may not cause that much harm. But when the cold season, I told you, circulation is already affected, but along with that, vibration causing them double harm. But actually, PP or hand gloves is not actual protection, but they help to reduce the vibration effect on the fingers. And again, role of health surveillance, the same way, it identifies the before something goes wrong or before the condition becomes worse. Medical practitioners can find out whether the cells are getting damaged, how is the circulation, all that things can be found out. So health surveillance plays important role in protecting the health of the workers. So health surveillance again should be done in the beginning when the worker joins to a job which exposes him to vibration potential, and let after that periodic medical checkups, and when he leaves the job again, medical checkups to find out what was the previous condition and what now leaving time, what is the health condition. So the worker should not come back later and put a case on the company saying that I got my fingers got cut, or I got gangrene, or my cells finger cell death occurred due to the vibration I exposed in such company. That time company has got all the proof of medical health checkup of that worker, from the first day what was the condition and the last day what was the condition. So they can prove in the court of law the vibration effect was not happening in the company. It may he may be exposed to it outside. Maybe he was working outside after leaving this job. If they don't have this proof, then they will be held liable for the injury caused by vibration. So that is the help. That is the benefit of the health surveillance for the companies, and also for the individual worker. It can identify his conditions well in advance, and he get a chance to get proper medical help. That's all about vibration. Do you have any questions for me with regards to vibration? Do you have any questions?